This is the recap for the trade I took yesterday. As you can see, has not won, has not lost. We're floating 1200. This is on an evaluation with funding pips, so don't freak out. We're floating 1200. Currently weekend holding, which sucks. I don't like doing that. I'm not a swing trader. Did not think that I would wake up this morning and have it still be chopping this hard, but shit happens. It's been a very interesting week. This is a week that has been like no other for me. So it's a funny time to actually start a YouTube channel about OBX. We had the trade the other day that actually lost by 1.5 pips on USD/JPY. Fucking incredible. Have not seen that happen in a year and a half, and have not weekend held in a year and a half. So, super interesting week overall. I have a takeaway that I'll just mention here, just so you can kind of get an understanding of how I process my trading weeks. A mini analysis of the week. So, I really only trade gold. I only trade gold, so you will understand what I'm about to say. Monday we lost. Super choppy price action. We got a setup. We got a valid setup for OBX. Just choppy. As soon as we entered, choppy, lost. Fine. Same thing on Tuesday. Valid setup, valid strategy, everything perfect, but as soon as we enter, super choppy, ends up losing. Perfectly fine. Wednesday. Wednesday is the time that I feel it's where I made probably my biggest error for this week. It's fine. Shit happens, but it's just a easily avoidable error. When I woke up and I looked at the gold chart on Wednesday, it was so choppy I knew there was no setup that was going to take place on Wednesday. I could just know. I just knew it was that choppy. It was going to take 8 hours for any sort, like at a minimum, 8 hours for the 4 hour to actually develop any trend. And then everything else that's got to take place. I knew there's no point taking a trade on gold. Hence why I went to USD/JPY and we had the really unfortunate loss that went all the way to TP. All the way to TP, lost by 1.5 pips. Can't even describe to you unless you actually know. It's like a millimeter. Think about it like a millimeter on a fucking ruler. That's how close we were to winning, and then just boom. Gradually went straight to stop loss. So that sucks, but whatever. My takeaway is I should have just not traded on Wednesday. I could have saved myself 1% because I ended up losing anyway. Even though it was a good trade, it went all the way to TP. Look, shit happens. You can't pick these things. I think I've said in one of the other videos, losing like that is like a 1 in 500 trades, you know? It's only happened to me about 3 times ever, and that was one of them. So, not too bad. It is what it is. No need to be so pissed about it. But I should have walked away from that day. Thursday we won, and then yesterday, Friday, this is currently what's happening. Good trade, just super choppy. Can't predict the choppiness of it. But very happy with yesterday, very happy with Thursday, and happy with the week overall. Just that one minor mistake. Still a good trade taken on USD/JPY, but should have just walked away from the market. We know for next time, right? Getting into this one here, even though it has not won or lost, it's still like, I don't know what to make of it because Monday could come and it could lose, but if you just look at it as a whole, this is OBX in motion, right? Super choppy, but OBX is kind of holding up. Once the weekend is over and price actually fluctuates over the weekend, it can create some displacement on this and it could lose. We're not really concerned with that. I'm not really concerned with it. It's already over in my eyes. Win or loss. I'm just thinking about the trade on Monday. But OBX is holding up even through these choppy conditions. And so I feel like it's still a good opportunity to teach you what's going on with OBX. This is like Thursday. It's an A-rated setup for OBX. I will do videos in the future where I actually explain to you A+, A, and A-, and the differences between the two. All small differences, but they affect the win rate by like probably 10% each tier down, right? I don't take anything other than A, and in the range of A. I don't even like taking A minus. A minus is like more, it's like 55 to 60% win rate. That's not ideal. It's in my favor, yes. It's in your favor if you learn it and take it, yes. But do you realistically want to take a 55 to 60% trade when you could take a 70%? Of course not. It's very risky. But if the market only gives you that on a day, that's where you make the call of whether you just want to miss out or take that A minus. Point is, this is an A-rated setup. So as soon as I got on the market in session yesterday, or pre-session, sorry, I'm just looking for what is the last thing the 4 hours done, and it broke structure all the way up here. So this was the last break of structure, meaning we're bearish. This sweep, not concerned about it because it's a sweep of a weak low, right? This low that happened here didn't result in a break of structure. This low right here resulted in the break of structure. So we've pushed past that, we've swept this weak low. I'm not expecting a full reversal all the way back up here and we just eat this whole range back up. Plus we're continuing the downtrend that's taking place anyway, right? We get a weak 15-minute high here that gets taken right after a strong 15-minute high has been taken. So we can take a trade off this weak high because we have already taken a strong high previously, and this is just price wanting to grab more liquidity before it continues in the direction, or we hope it continues in the direction we want it to go. Mark up the range of this sweep. If I go down to the 5-minute, you can see here, this is the high that caused the tiny little sweep of the weak high here. This is the low, boom, that's the 5-minute range. This is where I say I included the 5-minute sweep, which is this second line, as my final confirmation, because we've broken out of the range, swept a strong 5-minute high, just extra liquidity, reversed, had a tiny little breakout, but still a breakout of the range, which also ended up being a 15-minute break of structure, which is just even more confirmation, right? That prices wanted to start going down. Enter. Stops above the wick. The wick is very tiny in this example up here, so definitely put it above here. You can see if we had put it here like in the last example, this was the last point of liquidity getting taken before we continue down again. So this is where stop loss placement, if you want to always put it above the wick, you're more than welcome to do that. It still makes it a valid setup. The probability is still there. It just means that sometimes you might have a wick that's super huge, and that's going to cause you to be in a trade longer than you have to, which might result in some losses. But in this instance, the wick is super small, stop loss above the wick. You're better off just doing it. There's no need to be this stingy that you want to save this much of your trade so you can get out faster, because you may just lose like this. Came up super close, almost stopped us out. Doesn't really matter if it did, still a perfect setup. And then, yeah, just continue to chop. Super choppy. So that's basically it. I know, very confusing again, but in the future I'll get more cleaner at explaining OBX. At the moment, it's just the consistency of it all. You can see it right here. Nothing I can do about this choppiness, right? But the trade is doing well thus far. I hope you learned something from this. Again, I will get better at explaining it in the future. I will really am excited to also get some videos that are just specifically about OBX and the things that you need to look for, not just trade recaps, but I'm not too sure when I'm going to get around to doing those. As for that, I hope you have a good trading week next week. I hope you can learn something from my videos. I hope that you can ask yourself more questions, evaluate your week as well. Try to pick out some mistakes that you may have made so you can get some growth, even if you're not profitable yet, and you haven't tried OBX, or you don't get OBX just yet. All perfectly fine. Just continue to improve. If you can think of anything that you fucked up on this week, and you can tell yourself, right, I'm going to make sure that next time I'm in a situation like that, I'm not going to do it, that's growth. And you'll get closer and closer to being profitable.